Hey guys, it's me, Avi. I'm just listening to the Word of God. And you know, he doesn't want to scare you guys, but he wants to say he's sorry because nobody's listening to him anymore. And Italy, nobody's listening. So God is telling me to apologize on his behalf about Italy. And it's really sad that nobody really believes in God anymore, and they don't believe in people who connect, because there was a guy in my chair yesterday at the shop who told me he was 70 something and he was having to cut his hair off because he was going for some kind of chemotherapy where they were gonna give him light therapy on his brain or something. But the thing that he told me as well, because you know people show up to pray with me in my chair, and we talk to God together. And the thing that he wanted to say was that he used to talk to God, and God used to line up everything in his life, super serendipitous, just like mine is, because it's like consciousness as well. Split tongues is not allowed in this conversation, okay? So no, stop. So anyways, he was looking for something. He was looking for peace of mind. And I gave it to him. I baptized him the best I could. And I let him know that what they told him when he was younger was wrong. The doctors told him that he was schizophrenic because he was talking to God. And God talks. And I can prove it. But I don't need to you. Just because you don't talk to God because you're afraid of God, that doesn't make me schizophrenic.
Tasty new items at your Publix. From breakfast up.
That doesn't make me schizophrenic because you don't know how to talk to God. So the idea that, you know, you guys can't understand what's happening on the planet right now, and you fear God, and you're blaming God for everything, is wrong. It's not the way it works. God is good. And none of you knew anybody in Italy that I know. So just be warned that God is coming for you too. And the more you chastise the idea of people worshiping God, and the more that you have disdain for God, the more it's going to happen, because God is jacked into the system hardcore, and I recognize it. I recognize it for what it is, and it's a beautiful thing, and he's cleaning up the planet for us. And I'm not worried about my future because I know I have one. Whether it's here or somewhere else in some other dimension, my life will continue forever, because that's what Christ consciousness gives me. So the gentleman that was in my chair yesterday, I set him straight, but unfortunately I saw his future. And because he stopped talking to God and they medicated him, the pharmaceutical companies medicated the crap out of him, and they're going to medicate him to death. And that's his future. And how does that seem right to anyone on this planet? When everyone has the ability to have Christ consciousness and talk to God. It's just not okay for the pharmaceutical companies to say someone is unhealthy for talking to God, schizophrenia, whatever you're going to call it. If we're going to name call for people that talk to God, then let's talk about what pharmaceutical really means. And pharmaceutical is a split tongues lie, because they're programming people on the planet to believe through commercialism that they need drugs that we never needed to get us this far. So if you want to buy into Rick Scott, who's the governor of Florida, his wife owns a mosquito repellent company, and now there's Zika down in Miami all over the place. That's profit. That's false profit. The F in profit means false. When you're trying to mind control people and lie to them like a snake. And if there's two S's or two of anything in a word, that means split tongues. And pharmaceutical, you got it. So now, pharmaceutical companies, who's in the wrong and who's in the right and who's on the left? Because you're looking kind of like Lucifer to God. And I've already taken on Lucifer, and I won. Now, let's talk about people who are sick and need the tree of life, which is marijuana. Mary Jane. It's time to move forward and stop looking back. Because looking back is like looking into a gravity well that holds us down and oppresses us. It's time to move forward and look up and look at the bright side and change the behavior of this slave nation, because that's what it's founded on. Slavery and alcohol and disconcerting health issues. That's what keeps the machine running. God is here, and He's going to destroy this until somebody recognizes and acknowledges His existence. He's using New Orleans, Louisiana, as examples, like these cities that are getting destroyed. And if you think it ends there, He's warning you. He's given us like hurricane warning system. You know, He's showing us messages from a different dimension, a higher dimension that controls us all. And we need to acknowledge that God exists. It's on the money, for Christ's sake. And it's time. I know God. I walk beside Him. I don't walk behind Him, and I don't walk in front of Him. He lets me walk beside Him anywhere I go. Ovi out.